welcome to the Questionnaires podcast, where each week we source the best questions from Yahoo Answers and attempt to provide the best advice from.
Why is the fifth Rambo film called Last Blood and not Rambo number 5?
Have chickens flown further as an airline meal than they have as a species?
We're here to prove that every question deserves an answer. Joining with me this week, as always, is Marcus.
Hello, Tom.
And Damien.
Dumb. That was my Stallone, if you couldn't tell, for those playing at home.
That's beautiful. It brought a tear to my eye. The chicken question, I would say the chickens have not flown longer on airlines because chicken is probably the most popular dish on the plane, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So I would say that people would be ordering the chicken and be eating the chicken, so therefore it's not in the air as long as the other meal.
Right, so you're saying it's as soon as somebody gets their hands on a chicken airplane meal, they're just gobbling it down. Gobble, gobble, gobble.
Yeah, right.
Therefore, the airtime is not that long, even though chickens are notoriously bad flyers.
It still doesn't matter. People love chicken that much, Damien, that they will eat it so quickly. The other thing is that I don't even know if it is, in fact, chicken. Anything that they serve on a plane is, in fact, whatever animal they say it is.
I mean, I saw that commercial, Tom. You know, I feel like chicken tonight. That people love chicken so much, it makes them start acting like chickens. You are what you eat, to a degree, I guess.
Can I ask you guys, like with airline food, because we haven't been on flights for a while. However, we did go on a lot of flights previously. If they didn't have a certain meal, like they go, oh, I've got the chicken or the beef or the chicken and the fish, and we've run out of chicken, would you actually turn down the meal? Have you ever turned down a meal?
No, I would always take it. I would always take it purely because of all the other stuff you get in the meal, right? You get the main dish, but you also get a bread roll, you get some butter, you get a juice, you get some snacks and things like that. And I'll at least have a mouthful of the awful meal, and then I'll decide that I don't want it, rather than hedge my bets.
You'll try it. Yeah.
I also think that the stereotype of airplane food being bad doesn't hold as much water as it did in the past. I do think like the food has definitely gotten better in my experience anyway. Maybe because I also watched a video on like the chefs who make the food for airlines, right? And I kind of felt bad for them because they're like, we work really hard. Like they were kind of explaining that, like, due to being up in the air, they have to like, obviously our taste buds change to a degree, so they have to account for that. So that's how they base the meals, right? So I'm like, oh, I'm empathetic. I'm being an empathetic eater. I'm just thinking of that whenever I have airplane food now, but I don't know.
Airline chefs hate Jerry Seinfeld. That's it.
Oh,
like
he ruins their business.
Every time they hear he's going to be on the plane, they purposely put a turd in his meal. They're like, you know what? Fuck this guy.
Yeah.
He's ruined our industry.
This one goes straight to B movie, all right? Hand delivered to B movie for me, please.
That's it.
How are we going, boys? Are we having a good time? Marcus, it looks like you got a haircut. Is that so? Is that fresh cut?
I did. I got fresh cuts. Fresh cuts.
Nice one.
It was very hard booking in a hairdresser after lockdown. It was a 2-week wait. And I booked into a brand new one because I moved to a brand new location. I had no idea where I was going to get a haircut. And I found this new guy, or rather was told about this new guy. And I was like, all right, let's see how it is. And I walked in and the barber goes, hey, I know your brother, because my brother's the one that gave me the suggestion. Yes, you look nothing like him. And I'm like, oh,
you're way sexier than your brother.
That's what I said. I said, am I more handsome? And he goes, yeah, that's what it is. And I'm like, oh, thank you.
If he said like, hey, I know who you are, you look exactly like your brother, I'd say it makes sense. But had you ever met this guy and he had never met you?
No,
but he knew who you
never.
were, even though you look nothing like your brother.
I think my brother mentioned I was coming in soon.
Oh,
so when he saw me,
I think Marcus, you look exactly like your brothers.
Yeah.
Whereas Tom, I could not pick you and your brother. You guys, I think, look like polar opposites. You sure he wasn't adopted?
No, I have this joke with my family that if we were all standing at a bus stop, we would just look like 5 strangers waiting for a bus. We would not look like a family. We'd look like people would be like, are they together or whatever?
Man, there is this show that I used to watch with my grandpa. It's an Italian game show. And it's a very visual show, which is good for me because my Italian's terrible. But the whole premise is like there's a contestant and then they bring out one person and you have to guess who their relative is. So then they bring out like 6 different people. They give their backstory and stuff. And then from that and looking at the people, they have to try and wean down who the relative is. And I think if you and your brother were to go on that show, Tom, the person would have no chance of winning. It's a great show. I'd love it.
I feel like it's a perfect name for like, La Famiglia or something like that would be the Italian name, which is a good name for a restaurant and a game show based on family.
Of course. La Famiglia Feud, I think is what it's called.
That's the extent of my Italian knowledge.
Hey, Marcus, have you ever had the thing where you've been stopped by people who are friends with your brothers or know your brothers, mistaking you for one of your brothers? Has that happened to you before?
They've never mistaken me, but they've always known that we're related. It's like,
Right.
like I've walked in things like, I say, hey, do you know this person? I'm like, yeah, he's my brother. Like, they've always known or recognized it.
Yeah, so I would not know what it feels like, boys. They just yell out bus wanker to me because they're just like, hey, there's the guy that hangs out with the other bus stop wankers.
In their defense, Tom, you should really stop wanking on the bus. So stop calling it that.
I know. Hey, look, COVID has got me off public transport, so it's probably the best thing to stop me from doing it.
And you used to get off on public transport, so I think it's for the best.
It all makes sense. Look, enough about that, boys. Let's do what we're here to do each and every week, which is answer questions from the website Yahoo Answers. It's what we turn these microphones on for. We find questions from the website and try to provide advice to people to help them on their way. That's how the show works. The other thing we do is we choose a theme for each week to name the question askers, and it's my theme this week. And we just had the race that stops the nation, and it's spring carnival time of year, I guess, with the Melbourne Cup. Great to see that we're still trying to push forward and make everything seem like a normal Melbourne life is happening. We're on the cusp of it. But I thought we could name our question askers after a horse name. Now, you can create your own horse name. If you were to have a horse, what would you call it? Horse names are notoriously strange, so you can pretty much call it anything, is what I'm saying.
It shows you where my head is at when you said the race that stops a nation. I thought you were going to say the presidential election because I cannot avoid that bloody thing at the moment. Oh, it's on Twitter. It's in my Facebook messages. It's everywhere. Sick of it.
Yeah. No, that's why we're talking about horses instead.
That's it, horses.
Good.
not left center.
Not Donald Trump and Joe Biden.
Joe Biden.
All right. Who wants to go first? Any volunteers?
I will volunteer as tribute.
Yeah, all right, Tom, you go first.
Let's hear it. What's your horse name, Tom?
My horse name is going to be called... Now, I feel like when I think of a great name, I think it was a greyhound name from The Simpsons, which was She's the Fastest. It's like, she can't lose. She's the fastest. That's her name. But I wanted to go the opposite direction. I'm going to call my horse, There's No Chance I Will Win. There's no chance I will win. Or no chance she will win. Because then you'll be like, you have those people be like, maybe she will win though. Maybe it's like double, trying to throw me there.
That's the better way to go. You lower people's expectations. Whereas, I don't know if I said it on here before, I had a futsal team called the Really Good Team. And there'd be the occasional time where we'd lose and the other team would be like, so you're not that good. And as they walk off, and I'd be like, okay. Enough of that. All right.
See, the only way that this joke would ever go well for you, Damien, like it's always going to go well for the opposite team because when they're going to want to beat the really good team to know that they're the really good team. You're setting yourself up for failure. The joke is always on us.
Yeah, exactly.
That's true. Yeah. All right. Well, this one's going to come from There's No Way She Will Win. There's no way she'll win. Writes in, how do I approach this social situation? I'm attending an anime/cosplay meetup on Monday at a bar and grill. I'm usually a pretty quiet person. I don't want to seem rude by being quiet. I just need time to get adjusted to a new place and new people. I plan on bringing my Nintendo Switch to keep me busy. I just don't know what to do to not offend anyone. There's no chance she will win.
It's a perfect name for this for this question asker.
There's no chance you will win this social situation. So No Chance wants to know if it's okay, like what to do in a social situation. I guess they're getting there, they don't know people. Is it acceptable to sort of bring some sort of other form of entertainment? Now, they've obviously said Nintendo Switch. We're going to change that up. We can say a book. You can say, when you're in a situation, do you sit on your phone? And is that acceptable to do in a situation such as this at an anime/cosplay meetup at a bar and grill?
I feel like the easy answer is no. And I'll explain why. You're going to a social event, even if you're the only person there, you're not going to meet new people with something that's blocking you in front of like other people. I feel like a phone's a little different to a Switch or even a book. A book or a Switch is sort of, look, I could be wrong. I feel like a Switch at one of those type of events, people might crowd around and want to watch. You might get those kind of people.
Go. Yeah, they're chanting.
Go.
In his head, he's probably thinking...
you go dig up that fossil in Animal Crossing. Yeah! Like, I mean, that could happen with the Switch. A book, not so much. So
I think, I think a book is probably going to say fuck off. Like, don't talk to me because I'm reading my book. I'm interested in my book.
Yeah.
And
if
leave me alone.
Yeah, exactly. And if you go to an event like that with a book, if I saw you in an event like that with either a Switch, a book, Switch or a book, let's say those two. A book, I'd be like you already don't want to be here. Why are you here? A Switch, I'd be like, hey, you're fitting the market a little bit, and I'd be curious to know what you're playing. But I'm also like, hey, they probably don't want to talk to anybody.
Yeah, true.
That's fair, especially if the book they're reading is called like The Perks of Not Talking to Strangers. They're like, well, I definitely can't approach this person now.
Yeah.
That's like when you see, I think I've seen it online where you've got a person that's asleep on a train and they're reading a book of like how to fall asleep, and it's like, fuck, that book is good. It knocked him out cold.
Did they say they were being brought along by a friend, or were they going by themselves?
They said that they were going along by themselves. I think I like to think it's a situation where they're like, I like the idea of going, but like I don't know about how to sort of get in there and break the ice or be there on my own.
No, that's fair. When I was younger, I was way into Pokemon cards, so I went to a Pokemon card convention. It was purely like people like, a swap meet. People could trade cards, you could battle, that type of thing. And I brought my folder. I thought it was going to be like, here's the thing, right? I had a good time for the most part, but I did bring my folder, and a guy walked up, like people were making conversation. Another kid walked up to me. He's like, can I see your Pokemon cards? I'm like, yeah, of course, man. Flicking through my folder. And then he tried to like barter with me and was saying, I want this card, I want that card. And I go, nah, man. I'm just here for the, to celebrate Pokemon cards, right?
Yeah.
And battle.
And he lost it at me. He goes, don't you know what these conventions are about? If you're not here to trade, then you shouldn't be here. And then he like slammed my folder closed and walked off. And I was like, all right, okay. Maybe this isn't a celebration of Pokemon.
Damien's the person who's gone to a key party, thrown his keys in the bowl, and doesn't understand like what he's agreed to do. It's like, you knew what this was. Get in the bedroom.
You want me to have sex with your wife? I'm just a fan of keys.
Here to celebrate keys.
Was this guy older than you by any chance, or was it like maybe around the same age?
So let's say I was probably about 12 to 13. This guy would have been 15, 16.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Yeah,
and it was tough because like it was like random stranger uses being a prick. It was super effective. Like I felt really dejected and sad, and I kind of wanted to go home after that.
Damien took his cards and went home after that conversation. He's like, that's it, I'm done. Fuck Pokemon cards. I'm out of here.
Yeah.
He probably saw it still as an opportunity to be like, look, I can be the most alpha at the Pokemon convention, and I can probably, twist these dweebs' arms into getting a sparkly Marchamp or something in my hands.
Yeah.
Why not? I'll go. I'll spend an afternoon there. Just start bullying people.
Just gaslight some teenagers into giving you them Pokemon cards, basically.
Yeah, for sure. My school, because Pokemon cards were big when I was in like grade 4 or so, and my school had a thing where it's just like they had to sort of ban it in a way to be like no trading, because too many kids were coming to school, trading their cards, and then like coming home and being like gutted or something. Same deal with marbles. When you play marbles and play for like keeps, and if you lose your marbles, like quite literally. I think parents were probably just like, the kid lost his cat's eyes. Like he's gutted. He's hurt. What am I going to do? So they had to ban it. So
it's fair enough. Then I think at that time people didn't have smartphones. So they couldn't look up if it was a good trade or not. You just be like,
right.
I guess trading Kangaskhan for a Butterfree is a good trade. I have no idea. I guess I'm going to do it. And then your friends tell you later, dude, you just got ripped off. And then,
Butterfree, what?
Here comes the tears.
Yeah, then the tears come, but it's also like it's their life lessons. You got to get stooged at least once or twice in your life to be like, all right, I'm never doing that again. I'm never trading my Butterfree for anything else or whatever it might be.
I like to think back to the question when I go to if I'm, let's just say, when I used to go to my barber at a certain location, they never had bookings, right? Where you couldn't book in, you had to sort of write your name down on a board and just wait. And I would you'd go into the barbershop, you'd see like a group of like 8 guys sitting in there, all sort of man spread out there on their phones the whole time, just flicking through their phones. And when I become more aware of seeing people on phones, it makes me not want to be on my phone in a situation like that. So I would sort of come in and I would sit down and be like, I can entertain myself just by looking around, and sort of try to like tell myself that you don't need the phone to be entertained. You don't need the phone. Just observe